Hello, my name is Rene Perez, and today I will be presenting my presentation on my observational study that I did. So, for this project, I observed eating habits and food decision making at my local grocery store, so my local El Super and my local Stater Brothers. I chose this community because grocery stores reflect the real behaviors that influence what families essentially eat at home. Studying this setting, I guess, helps us understand how health, culture, price, and family dynamics shape the food choices in everyday life. So the methods I completed 2 hour observations at the grocery store. Um, I'm sorry, at El Super and then at Stater Brothers, and I focused on how shoppers or grocery shoppers how they selected their food, um, and what influenced their decisions to choose that kind of food. So I did not interact with anyone. However, I did take notes and I tried to listen, for the conversations that they were having. Um, I took notes. Like I said, I observed their behaviors, their relationships, and their purchasing patterns at different areas of the store. So, just a few of my field notes that I took notes. And the shoppers that I observed were mixed in race and ethnicity. Um, and also when it comes to like ages and stuff, I did observe families with children. I observed older adults shopping, people shopping alone, people shopping with kids. So pretty much, I mean, I noticed a cultural explosion of many Latinos and Asians, and I throughout my time I the languages that I heard were mainly English. There was an occasional Spanish conversation here and there, but for the most part it was mainly English and Spanish. So I took notes on my phone. Um, I don't know. I felt like carrying a notepad and a pen, so it's gonna be a little bit too obvious. So I wanted to be discreet, so to not cause them, I don't know, pressure or being feeling like they're being watched. So I chose my phone. I was discreetly taking notes on my phone, um, and obviously, noting down, their interactions. Um, I was also writing down what they picked, how they decided, and any comments that they made, like any conversations that they had during that time. So to analyze my notes, I searched for repeated behaviors and patterns. Some of the strongest patterns included how price affected the choices that they made, how children influence the type of items that their parents choose. Um, Cultural foods also played a role, and marketing strategies um, work great for like impulse buying. So um, that was one of the things that caught me off guard. I also saw that nutritional the labels that are in the back, were rarely or never looked at, or no one actually took the time to, look at the nutrition labels. The only exception to that was the elderly and parents of children, obviously, when, trying to decide for a healthier option for their kids. So these are just a few examples from my observation. I saw parents comparing brands of cereal and choosing the cheaper brand, even though the healthier option was right next to it. So obviously, price influenced that decision. Um, I also saw a child asking repeatedly for a chocolate, And eventually, after so many, minutes of the child, begging and crying, the parent eventually gave in. And I also watch shoppers examine their food, their fruits and the vegetables very closely, and all, feeling it and looking at the price, comparing it, I guess checking for freshness and stuff, and checking the price before making the decision. And then at the checkout, several shoppers grabbed, chips, sodas, candies, without thinking. They just added it to the line. They already had a cart full of stuff. They were waiting in line and they saw something that caught their eye, and they did a impulsive a buy. So it just shows that, the placement works. So marketing strategies work. So just a continuation of my findings. Overall, price had a major influence on what people bought. Children had a noticeable impact on shopping decisions, especially regarding, snacks and candies and stuff. Cultural preferences also shape what people chose in the produce, like spices, um, and certain brands. Like I mentioned earlier, marketing worked wonders, especially for, impulse items near the checkout aisle. And most shoppers did not read the nutritional labels, unless they were, like I said, older adults um, or parents shopping for their children. So what surprised me the most from this observational project, was how quickly people decided on food items without checking the labels or the nutritional value, that they held. Um, I was also surprised by how much children could influence, what parents bought them. Like I said, the child that was crying for, I don't know, I would say like 5 minutes. I could hear him from across the store, and eventually the parent gave in. So um, I didn't I didn't expect marketing and packaging to be um, like a strong factor to what people chose when deciding for a food item. So that one really caught me off guard, the strategic marketing. So it works. So I pretty much what I learned was that food decisions come from many different influences at the same time. It could be money, it could be culture, children, it could be convenience, it could be the way the store is designed. Um, I feel like observations help me see how nutrition challenges are connected to real environments, to the obesity issue that we have here in the United States. And this, reminded me that public health efforts need to consider affordable options, and also consider the store layouts and the needs of a family, and not just the education of them. We have to take all these other things into consideration as well. So, in conclusion, grocery choices are shaped by multiple factors. Like I said, price, culture, market, impulse, and children. Um, I feel that future research could compare grocery behaviors in different neighborhoods or study how store layouts affect healthy eating. So, I feel like observing real food choices helps um, public health better understand how communities make nutritional decisions. Um, they The fact that the nutrition labels are hardly ever checked is something that we could educate people on, and make them more considerate when it comes to reading the labels, as they could obviously gain a lot of health benefits from reading the labels. So yeah. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed being part of this, taking part of this observational project, and I've learned so much. So with that being said, this is it for today. So thank you for listening.